Well, the early church, I think, was plainly Unitarian. Jesus was. Paul was an absolute Unitarian monotheist. He says, we believe in one God, the Father. That's quite clear. Now, he also, of course, acknowledges that alongside that one God, there is Adonai, my Lord, Messiah, the human Lord. One God, one man. That's quite clear. But Paul never for a moment interfered with the Shema. This would be mass chaos. You'd need certain complete writings. You need several books to change the Shema. So that's out of the question. Now, the Arian view, then, is a development towards the Trinity. So the Trinity, it's not the other way around. It's not the Trinity precedes that. The Arian view, which is that Jesus was not God, but that he pre-existed as a created being somewhere before Genesis, that stems en masse from Justin Martyr. We have a lot of writing on that. Tertullian is really along those lines too. He thinks of the Son not existing forever.
So the Arian, so-called Arian, is
precedes it.
More ancient.
Absolutely.
Than the Trinitarian one
Absolutely.
by a couple of hundred years.
Absolutely.
At least. Okay.
It develops goes from bad to worse from my point of view. Right. And that's 300 or 400 years of fighting. You can read all this very much online, and people should get an education in this area. I've got a book in front of me which you'll find most interesting, called The Problem of Christ in the 20th Century by Matthews. Matthews, certainly, talk about being littered with letters. He's a KCVO, Knight Commander of the Victorian Order. He's a DD, he's a D-Lit. He used to write in the Daily Telegraph when I was growing up every Saturday. This is a very brilliant man. And he has written in a concise form, The Problem of Christ in the 20th Century. The problem, it shouldn't be a problem. Why is everything a problem in theology? But he outlines then the history of what for me is a corruption from the simplicity of the unity of God, the unitary monotheism of Jesus, to a fearfully complicated, argumentative, 3-in-1, which nobody can explain. Ultimately, people say, well, it's a mystery. That's a beautiful statement. Now, we could multiply that 100 times. If we had time, we could read 100 statements like that. One from Matthews here, where he says that anybody with a rudimentary knowledge of church history knows that the Trinity has nothing to do with the Bible. Paul, he says, would not have even understood the terms. We need clarity here in this information age. We're very good at information. Isn't it time that we applied these strict logical rules, common sense, historical rules, to the effort to serve God in spirit and truth? That's what we're aiming at here. The best refutation of the Trinity, by far, is the history of the development of that doctrine. Right. It doesn't show the fruits of the Spirit by any stretch of the imagination. Very violent. Very, very violent. Not at all reflective of the spirit of gentleness, kindness, and love even of enemies, as taught by Jesus. Loofs is one of the German theologians. Harnack. You should read Keegan Chandler's book, The God of Jesus and the Light of Christian Dogma, a very, very interesting account of what went wrong. But he is not inventing anything new. This has been written up in many, many books. You can buy books now easily secondhand. You can read online. The children at school in their teenage years need to understand what went on to produce this Trinitarian dogma.